pull up in a casket, you be looking sweet like a fucking fruit basket. Did a couple raps, I did a check and Johnny Cash. Did I smash it? I let your mama rob my sunglasses. Don't think nobody gonna fuck with me like I do. You can be killing the motherfuckers always fucking, but damn it, I'm hot too. That means I don't give a fuck. Yo, I want stunt. I make your salary.
And the boys are back. Ask Us Sports Podcast. We missed last night. We made an exception for Viggy. He had a little anniversary. But we're back Wednesday night at 8:30 again. I got my man Ken. I got my man Viggy. And then we got the number one Ask Us Sports Podcast fan, Dylan Outtabagels. Bagels, how we doing tonight?
I'm good, boys. Thanks for having me on, of course. And it feels like I joined Discord 8 months ago, which it was. And look at me now, my first podcast appearance.
I love it. I love it. Ken, how was the weekend? How's the week been treating you? Kind of on hump day?
Yeah, it's interesting to be here on a hump day, but the week's been busy as hell, trying to wrangle a bunch of crazy maniacs for a Dynasty League startup. Hopefully a couple are listening in today because they are chomping at the bit. But I had to step away from that, and now I'm here with my favorite podcasters and my favorite podcast listener and hobby enthusiast out of Bagels. This is going to be a great show.
Absolutely. And Viggy, you got some big news, and you got the Viggy chart moving and flowing. What's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, man. So I hope our comment section isn't quiet tonight since Bagels is on the show.
That's a serious concern. I know.
Oh man, I can't type in it either. So
hopefully Hatch picks it up if he's around. But I'm sure we'll get some good comments. So going right into it, Bagels, we brought you on specifically because you had a pretty nice pitch to give Andy on why he should pick a certain team to be his favorite EPL team. Let's hear it.
All right. So I will preface by saying I probably put more time into this presentation than I did probably on the other segments, to be honest. So, Biggie, I'm going to start out one. Liverpool's coming off a championship 2019-2020. Not the best pandemic year with the 2021 season, but I think, just looking at this squad, the biggest name on there, you got Mo Salah, probably the greatest contribution to the world Egypt has given us since the pyramids. Not going to lie. 20 years old, just lighting it up scoring-wise, which we love to see. And kind of just, going on to that, you got Jurgen Klopp, the manager, right? And I don't know about you, but I love loungewear. I love being relaxed. Like, look at me right now, buttoned up. Unbuttoned, Jurgen Klopp wears a tracksuit to every game. I don't know about you, but do you want your manager wearing a suit if a rumble breaks out? No, you want your manager to get in there with his tracksuit and whoop some ass, right? So, yeah, exactly. The hero of Egypt. And so I really wanted to keep this just between your top four of Arsenal, Leicester, and Tottenham. Last 3 years, Liverpool has not had a losing series against either of these teams. Against Tottenham, they're undefeated the last 3 seasons. There's a couple draws and a couple losses against Arsenal and Leicester. But if you pick Liverpool, you're picking a winner against your other 3 top 4. Also, maybe that plays into kind of the manager situation at the others 3. They've had 3 managers within 3 years. Jurgen Klopp's been there since 15. I remember when he first came in back in college, our roommate was raving about him. But I wanted to end it short and sweet because you're a fan of acronyms, the NRFIs, the YRFIs. I'm sure you're looking at the BTTS, both teams to score bets. But I want to leave you with this one, and it's YNWA. And that is the team song, You'll Never Walk Alone. So if NRFI Nation bails on you, you'll at least have Liverpool to be walking alongside you with these bets. So that's my pitch why you should take Liverpool as your EPL team.
Leave the best part for last. I'm hoping Nerfy Nation never ditches me, though. I feel like at this point, I feel pretty good that they're on my side.
Andy, what are you thinking after that pitch? What's your first thought after that pitch?
I thought it was pretty good. I gotta say, I like the, the loyalty aspect of things. Me as a Steelers fan, I appreciate the sentiment of having just 3 head coaches in the last 60 plus years, 62 years. So the fact that Jurgen Kloppman has been there for a while is always a good thing. I also, like I said, appreciated the last stat, and also the championship, of course, in the 2019-2020 season. Obviously not last year, but still coming off a strong finish last year for Liverpool. Should I make my choice, Shane? Should I?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and mute everyone. Go ahead and turn your camera off. I assume we'll see a pick here in the next 3 seconds.
Back with the Raiders. These boys are my sons like Phoenix. My city is, they never ever seen this. I'm trying, I'm a young boy genius. I'm a full time, I'ma give it that penis. When it's just done, I'ma feel the greatest. Ooh, like Gilbert Arenas, shoot my shot.
It's Arsenal, baby. Bring me the Gunners. Bring me the Gunners. I am excited for this season, Shane. Let's bring it. Arsenal and Chelsea. Can't wait for that.
It's going to be exciting. We saw what happened in the friendly.
We saw
Chelsea take them down.
It was a valiant effort there, Bagels. Valiant effort. Got to go with the Gunners.
Bagels,
they're a fun team to watch, man. Really
reaction.
Really fun team to watch.
I mean, like I said earlier yesterday, I think it was already a predetermined outcome. This presentation was, it didn't change anything. But I will say, all-time Liverpool has 90 wins, 64 draws, and 79 losses against Arsenal. So it's probably the closest race behind Leicester City. So I'm glad you at least picked Arsenal over Tottenham, because you might be waiting another 72 years for an EPL title.
Andy, do you have a favorite player on Arsenal that kind of outweighed the decision? Because most of the law is pretty awful.
Yeah, so I mean, I really like Saka. It's just a young team overall, and one of the reasons that was the big reason that I picked Arsenal. So with Tottenham, you have the whole Harry Kane situation, right? Is he going to stay there? He's also older. Leicester City had their run, a few years ago. They've still been very competitive, but I just really like Arsenal, how they go about it. They're a fun team to watch. They score a lot of goals. So it will never be a boring match when you have Arsenal.
Fair enough. Saka is awesome. Another great British star. I do love the British national team. So, I mean, honestly, it's a good pick. Mo Salah is awesome, though, and Liverpool would have been a very good choice. Ken, we have a little John at you in the chat from Mr. J Catch. Anything you'd like to say to him?
This is a hijacking. This is essentially they've hijacked the chat. But,
it's because we don't have Bagels, the head of security, there to.
That means that you can't make your pick at all until the end of the show. You can't.
Usually this happens during breaks, and that's when Bagels is there to mute Hatch and get him out of here. But unfortunately, there's no security at this event, and we're gonna have the stage absolutely raided here in a matter of moments. Just to fill in the listeners, there's a Dynasty Startup League going on right now. It's a slow draft. I emphasize the word slow because technically you're supposed to draft when you want. It's a slow draft. Some people are having a little trouble adjusting to the concept. And I think actually it stems from Liam waking him up at like 4:30 this morning for whatever reason. So it's been a contentious day in Dynasty football land. But
I do have a question for you, Ken. How good do you feel getting rid of that that gold label now that Tatis is back on the IL.
Oh man, I sold that thing at the right time, right? That
Yeah.
was nerve wracking. I know Tatis. Yeah, to actually get back on track with something here, Tatis obviously went back on the IL with yet another shoulder separation. What is that? His third one this season, partial separation. They're really starting to suspect that season-ending surgery is on the table here, which
Really?
yeah, they were at least talking about it. I saw it getting tossed around, which if that were to happen, that's pretty devastating for baseball. You know,
Which is why the Dodgers were such buyers at the deadline. Maybe they knew something.
And they really, I mean, they did make a move, but really they didn't make any big splashes at the deadline either. So the Padres are, in my opinion, kind of reeling a little bit here. Not gonna be able to catch or keep up with the Dodgers without Tatis in the lineup. That's for sure. So it's a rough one for them.
Yeah, it is rough, and if there is season-ending surgery, it's going to be devastating for the Padres. Even though they did just manage to get Adam Frazier, I don't think you can replace a bat like Tatis, especially in a race like this. Plus, the Dodgers just got Hamels. Dodgers are really just picking up everything. I know Andy loves
as much depth as they can find.
Andy, Biggie Betts has something big going on. What's up?
Biggie Betts has a lot going on right now. I will say that this week, week and a half, has just been really a huge boost, not just to me, but to Viggy Nation and to NRFI Nation. We had about a 30 to 45 day, probably a 30 to 45 day lull on the NRFI, on the Nerfy. So I did a lot of things differently in the All-Star break. I really kind of reevaluated how I want to go about this bet, because it was just not cashing. It was not cashing at all. We were having a lot of issues with it. So I introduced the Viggy chart. The Viggy chart is a summation of all the stats for pitching that really go into account of what makes a Nerfy, what makes an NRFI. It does ERA with the first inning ERA, batting average in the first inning, batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, your last 28 days, so on and so forth. It groups together, and it's a grading system of all the pitchers that are going that day in that specific game. And without going too deep into it, it's how I use my grading system for all my bets. And the NRFI is 17-3 since I have implemented this system for the Nerfy. The YRFIs, kind of sub 500. My F5 bets are pretty solid as well, but the Nerfy, which is really what it was born and used for, is 17-3. That's 85% clip. And that's really helped grow Viggy Nation to the point of where I crossed 2,000 followers on my Twitter account on Saturday, and now we're already over 2,100. So as a token of appreciation, and I always said this after I got past 1,000, I did a 1,000 follower giveaway. I'm also going to do a 2,000 follower giveaway, which is my announcement this evening. We're doing a $50 giveaway announcement. There will be a post on Twitter about this specifically. It will be tomorrow morning. So it'll be a $50 giveaway, and there will be just 3 simple qualifications you have to meet. 1, you have to like and retweet the tweet, obviously. That's number 1. You have to follow me at Viggy Betts right there. And then follow Ask Us Sports on Twitter. That's number 2. 2 very easy requirements. And then 3, which may trip some people up, but hopefully not. If you listen to the show, you enjoy it, not only just download the show, but give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. But I think Apple would be the best route to go. So give Ask Us Sports a 5-star review, and then leave that screenshot, leave that snippet that you gave the 5-star review on Apple, leave it in a reply to the tweet, and you will be entered in for this $50 giveaway, which I will announce on the show next week.
I like it. Very generous too. $50 giveaway.
It's a
Get in
token of
on
my
that, guys.
appreciation for Vicky Nation. We've had a ton of followers. We've really grown this thing especially over the last week. It does help when the nerfies are at an 85% clip right now, win clip right now. And that's really what it's all about. You know, the Eurofees, the F5s, they're there as other kind of bets, right? But the nerfie is really what people desire. So if we're winning at an 85% clip right now, I doubt that's going to be sustainable long term. But we're riding hot right now, man, and everybody loves the NRFI. It's the best bet in sports, the best 6-out bet in all of baseball. So we're going to keep riding it according to the Viggy chart. There's no personal bias here at all. It's what the Viggy chart says. What is the grading system? The grading system is there's 10 statistical categories. If a pitcher hits 7 out of 10, that's really going to be an automatic play. If both pitchers hit 7 out of 10 on the grading scale for the Viggy chart, it's an automatic play. And then there's other qualifications. So say if one pitcher hits a 7+ grade on the Viggy chart, but one other hits 5, it could still be a nerfie, but it depends on the other team and where they rank on the scale of first inning offense. So I will keep explaining to it as we go along. I'm trying not to give out the full recipe here because I want people to just keep tailing it. But we're going to keep cashing here, boys. That's what it's all about. I finally I feel like I have a recipe now for success, and we're going to keep riding it.
Bagels, Ken, as the IT guys, I need you to hack into Andy's computer and get that formula. We can make some money.
I'll let you, if you're an IT guy, I'll let you come into my system if you can figure out a way how to automate it. This is a manual system right now. I'm doing it every single day.
You're speaking my language now. I'm all about that.
If I can automate the Viggy chart, it would be a game changer.
We might have to talk later. I think we can do something.
I'm going to say,
you're talking his love language right now.
I need some tips from Viggy Nation to help make that happen, I bet. But
Viggy, I wanted to know kind of with your NRFIs, YRFIs, being in Ohio, sports gambling is not legal yet. What's the one team that has just, hit that you needed to make a quick buck that for the most part was dependable? What team are you going with across any gambling strategy?
I really like the Marlins, especially on the road. The Marlins on the road, typically, they do not score. At a period of time, I think it was in June, there was 19 of 20 games that the Marlins did not score a run in the first inning. I tend to be a little bit more careful with them at home, but if the Viggy chart says to play it, I played it. And it was the Mets-Marlins as the third game for the sweep tonight in Miami. It cashed. But the Marlins and the Rangers also, especially without Joey Gallo, are a team you definitely want to play right now. So those two teams for sure. One in each league, if you will, the Marlins in the National League, the Rangers in the American League.
Well, hell, if the Ohio government gets their heads out of their asses.
For the NRFI. For the NRFI.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm locked out. No fun.
For the Eurofee, I really look at the Dodgers. If the Dodgers are at home facing a right-handed pitcher that does not grade well on the Viggy chart, it's more than likely going to be a YRFI, especially with their lineup right now. Corey Seager's back. Cody Bellinger is here. Trey Turner's now in the lineup for the Dodgers. It's hard to go wrong with the Dodgers right now. Their lineup is stacked across the board. The Giants are really good at home as well. They're a top 5 Eurofee team. So
I like it. So moving forward, let's go ahead and touch on some of the bigger MLB trade deadline deals and maybe some deals that didn't happen that we thought could have happened. Ken, in your opinion, other than the Max Scherzer, Trey Turner deal, what was your favorite deal of the trade dedeadline?
The most fun, I thought there were two that were actually really fun. The first and foremost was the Berrios trade to Toronto because it's not a typical trade that you would ever see. It was a little off the rails. People were caught up in the hysteria of this deadline, that is for sure. And that became pretty obvious, I think, around the time the Max and Trey stuff really started to take up. I think all the other teams were like, holy shit, what the hell's going to happen here? I got to start buying something. And to see a guy like Austin Martin get traded for Berrios was really crazy because it's just not something you would typically see. A guy that just gets drafted, a guy that's just coming up, a guy that just had his first Bowman Chrome card. As a lot of the card junkies know, he was a big chaser this year in the Bowman product. So it's kind of funny to see him get moved. Not something you would expect, but really a great move all around, especially if you don't necessarily believe in him and think that these young guys kind of have a lot of hype to them. The other one that I think was kind of cool was the Javi Baez trade because PCA was involved as well, and I really like the fit for him in Chicago. So I think that's gonna go a long way. But a lot of good trades with a lot of good fits. Chris Bryant was something that we talked about last week. Really, I thought the Mets were going to be in on him. Turns out it was the Giants, and the most interesting dynamic now is probably the Yankees, who are just kind of out there going to be slugging it or striking out basically between Gallo and Rizzo and Stanton and Judge. It's a laser show out there for the Yankees. But yeah, the devastating part is I think who you would consider the biggest deadline loser, and that to me that would be my Boston Red Sox, because frankly they didn't do anything that is going to tick the needle, and they really needed to. They were a first place team. They should have done something that didn't require mortgaging the farm. I mean, let's face it. I know Rizzo's not a world beater, but you didn't have to mortgage the farm to get rid of Rizzo. It was the 13th best prospect in the Yankees organization that got that trade done. So I would have liked to see them do a little bit more. I'm not one of those guys that you need to mortgage the farm to bring in major league talent. I know Heimblum's really trying to build that farm, but I think the Red Sox were definitely the deadline's biggest loser because, frankly, I think it shows that you aren't investing in this core of guys. And when you see guys like Xander Bogaerts who are playing like through some injuries and seeing these other guys that are playing out of their minds, and some of these pitchers like Evaldi who are approaching career innings, and I think it shows that you don't want to invest in them, and I think that's a slippery slope. I think you could have done something to bolster that team in the right direction, and I think you're hedging a lot on Chris Sale to come back and be that answer. And I do kind of hate Schwarber. I think that was kind of a cop-out pick. I'm not convinced he can even play first base effectively, which is where you're going to need him to play because Dalbec is a disaster.
I'm actually kind of excited to see Schwarber. I think if he can get back to how he was hitting in Washington, he's going to hit absolute piss missiles in Boston.
He's been out 2 months now. Let's see. To me, that was an anomaly what he was doing in Washington.
No, I definitely agree. We'll see if he can keep pace. I mean, it's a really good ad, but I mean, as you said, Chaim probably doesn't believe too much in this core. It probably doesn't think they'll make too much noise in the playoffs. So he's saving his assets for maybe next season. But my kind of questionable move was the Chicago White Sox moving off Madrigal for Kimbrel. I thought that was a pretty weird move. Madrigal was actually having a great season before he had his season-ending quad injury, and he was hitting 300, stole some bases, had a decent amount of RBIs, and he was hitting the ball at a good clip. So I just don't understand the move. He's so young. I think he could have, if he played a whole year, would have been in contention for Rookie of the Year. So it's just a weird move to me. Viggy, did you think Madrigal to the Cubs was pretty weird?
No, not necessarily. I mean, when you look at getting a guy like Craig Kimbrel and putting him in the back of the bullpen with Hendricks really just solidifies, I believe, the White Sox pennant chances this season. I think when you really think about it, you have a strong rotation for the White Sox coupled with their offense, right? You get into the 6th or 7th inning, in a postseason series against the White Sox, and it's going to be a tall order to come back against this team. When you have Kimbrel, who is having absolutely his best season, and that's saying something considering his past great success with the Braves and whatnot. So for me, I think it's a win here now move for the White Sox, especially coming up so short last year in the postseason. To me, I think it's a great trade. It's a trade I was not expecting, to say the least. I was not expecting the White Sox to get in on Kimbrel with them already having Hendricks, but Liam Hendricks in the bullpen. So for me, I thought it was a great trade. So yeah, I mean, when you get a guy like Kimbrel, you have to give up some pieces. So I don't hate it at all.
No, Hatch, I definitely agree. The Cubs came away with some amazing prospects. I thought getting PCA was big. Getting Madrigal was huge because now they got rid of Javi Baez, but next season they're going to have their future second baseman already ready to go, this major league ready. And then getting Alcantara from the Yankees was insane. I thought the Yankees were insane trading Alcantara. He's hitting like 350. He's only 19 in low A. I think that kid's going to be a star. So, I mean, they got some great prospects in a lot of these deals. Bagels, did you have a favorite deal of the deadline?
Not a favorite one, but the most questioning one I had was the Chris Bryant for Joey Bart trade.
It wasn't for Joey Bart. Was not in the trade.
Oh, it wasn't?
That was a mistake.
No.
It actually wasn't Joey Bart. It was who was it?
I have it up right here actually because I figured we were going to talk about it. Shoot.
I think Joey Bart was a rumored piece, but then
Joey Bart was a rumored piece that it would be straight up, but it was not Joey Bart. Actually, that was in the deal. There was two top 30 prospects, right-hander Caleb Killian and outfielder Alexander Canario was going back to Chicago in that deal. Two top 30 solid prospects, but not the prospect.
I was going to say, if that trade went through, kind of who's going to be the heir apparent to Buster Posey because he's 34 years old. Like, you got this prospect, trading that away for basically a rental and Chris Bryant for the year was going to be mind-boggling to me. But, I mean, I don't know. I guess overall, the Dodgers trade, just, again, buying that payroll, just basically buying their way to a back-to-back World Series championship was definitely the most not surprising, but most interesting trade to me.
How are they even doing this year after year? It just feels like every year, whenever there's a big name coming up on the market, you just expect that the Dodgers are either going to be involved, if not the front runners, and they usually get it done. They don't seem to ever run out of farm. When they don't, they always seem to be in the World Series. So they're doing something right out there.
Well, it almost reminds me of the early 2000 Yankees when they were dropping all those major contracts. And
yeah,
as much as I hate on the Dodgers, and yes, they do buy a lot at the trade deadline. Let's remember here, 3 of their prominent guys in their lineup, they just kind of found and they developed. Max Muncy was not a touted prospect when he came over in a trade from the Oakland A's. Chris Taylor, they found pretty much off the street from Seattle. And then Justin Turner, who was DFA'd by the Orioles and Mets back in the day, came in, and the Dodgers pretty much turned his career around. So, yeah, as much as the Dodgers do buy a lot at the trade deadline and sign guys to massive contracts, they do go out and they scout, and they do everything right, which is why they're in this position, it feels like, every single year.
No, absolutely. I mean, they're getting Cole Hamels too. So, I mean, the Dodgers are really are becoming what the Yankees were in the early 2000s. Yeah, they're buying players. I mean, they did move some good pieces to get Max and Trey. I think I was a little shocked that Gavin Lux wasn't involved in that deal. I thought Lux should have went back to Washington, but it is what it is, right? So moving on, Ken, real quick, who's your biggest winner and who's your biggest loser over the deadline? I'm sure the Red Sox are the loser.
Oh, the Red Sox are by far the loser. Yeah, I'm pissed. As a Red Sox fan, I'm pissed. They're the biggest loser. The Padres pushed them for biggest loser. Thought that Frazier wasn't a good ad, but it wasn't enough. And the Dodgers are the obvious winner because they're going to now probably project themselves right back into the World Series. But to do a different sort of stance, and we just alluded to it already. I think the Cubs were a big winner, a huge winner from the deadline. You don't really see those prospects getting thrown around quite so frequently, and this year was an anomaly. I think a lot of people wanted to make a big splash. A lot of people were looking for major league talent, and they were ready to flip their prospects, and the Cubs came ready to capitalize on that, and I think they did a really good job. And I think you're going to be seeing the Cubs getting back to relevancy. I don't know. How long do you think it's going to take? 3, 4, or 5 years? Probably closer to 5. But assuming these guys pan out, which a lot of us, I think PCA is going to be really good. And as Shane said, Alcantara is – I think he's a stud, a future stud. So I definitely think the Cubs were a winner at this deadline. And, actually, to Hatch's point, the Yankees are – I think the Yankees are kind of a delusional loser. They needed more than just, beefed up more launch pad bats. I know they have Kluber, and I know they still think Severino is going to pitch, but they needed more help than that, and I feel like they might have been delusional, but we'll see because the Red Sox didn't do anything, and the Jays and Rays both got better, so it could be a dogfight in the East.
No, I agree for sure. Moving on, I know Ken wanted to touch on this. It's our football segment. He wanted to talk about Cam versus Mac Jones. It's not an ask for round, but he had some.
Cam and Mac. We have to talk about it, Shane, because
for Mac.
This has kind of unfolded to the story of our friendship, Cam and Mac. So I feel like it wouldn't be right if we didn't have a little bit of a discussion centering around what's been going on since they threw the pads on. So, Shane, I don't know if you happen to notice, but Josh McDaniels said that the game has now slowed down for Cam in year 2 with the Patriots. And that what was the word? They was throwing darts. Cam Newton was throwing darts. When have you ever heard that before? Well, what's going on here? So my question for you, Shane, is, and I need to know if the rumblings are true and Cam has looked good and Mac has looked like he has a ways to go, which is what Belichick has been saying lately. How is a first-round pick not ready to take over for a guy who everybody says can't throw anymore? Because I would think that a first-round pick would already have the inside track on Cam Newton. So do you think that this is just them playing up the politics and we want Cam to be the quarterback, so we're going to hype him up and we're going to hype Mac down? Do you think that the gross exaggeration of Cameron Newton's demise has been over-exaggerated, such as myself? Or is it something else? Does Mac stink?
Mac doesn't stink. Let's throw that theory out the window. Mac doesn't stink. Everyone in our little fantasy league likes to pick at me saying Mac is the worst draft pick ever. He's going to suck. All this crap. He looks like Ken in pads.
That's literally it. He looks like me in pads.
So those are the running jokes. But Mac's going to be great, man. He broke a few records in college. He broke Joe Burrow's accuracy record. He broke Colt McCoy's passer rating record. So he can move the ball, and he showed he could move the ball. He threw for 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns in one season at Bama. He bet on himself. He could have gone to literally any other school and started, but he bet on himself, sat behind Tua, waited his turn, and came in and really should have been the Heisman last year. I know they gave it to Devonta Smith, but I think Mac is the reason Devonta Smith was so good. But I digress. I think Cam can be good this year, and I think that's what Belichick wants. So obviously good things are going to be said about Mac, said about Cam, build up his ego a bit. I do like Cam. I think the Patriots offense is obviously a difficult offense to learn. So Cam had, his growing pains in year 1. Year 2, he might be better. And that's fine. I've always said I would be okay with Mac sitting a year and learning and taking it slow, the Patrick Mahomes route, if you will. Sit for a year, learn the offense, get comfortable. The players love Mac, and that's what it takes first, is for the players to buy in. If the players buy in, it makes it so much easier for the quarterback to kind of get settled in. So I think Mac is going to be just fine. I know Andy is hoping and praying that Mac is awful because he wants to rub it in my face. I
mean,
Andy, come on.
if he sits for a year, Shane, you're going to get a sick discount on all his rookie cards.
And that's another good thing for me. I'm okay with that. I will take all the Mac rookie cards. You want to send them to me? Send them to me. I'm about it. Jake, Mac was the guy that Steve hit an auto of. It should have been my auto, but it's okay. I digress.
I think he's trolling.
But I think Mac's going to be a great quarterback. Whether he comes in mid-season, starts game one, or sits the whole year. And if Cam starts and does well, I'm happy because I've always been a Cam supporter. I've never said too many bad things about Cam. So even when he sucked last year, I might have been upset, but I never said anything terrible. And I think Ken can agree with that.
Yeah, no, I think so. You were one of the lighter ones on my guy.
But I know, Ken, I'm thinking you're hoping Mac stinks still.
No, I actually don't want him to stink. I want him to do well because I think it's important for the Patriots dynasty for him to do well because it's gonna taint Belichick a lot if Mac Jones stinks. And
there's my reason for wanting Mac Jones to stink. Thank you.
Bill's been getting dragged through the mud quite a bit by Tommy, and we got that biography, or what is not the biography, but that book that's coming out in October where it's like literally this one guy. I forget the guy's name now, but he's writing the book and he's going back and forth from Brady's camp to the Patriots camp, Patriots camp to the Brady's camp. And you know that this is going to be such a pissing contest in this book. It's going to be the best read of the fall. So yeah, I want him to be good because it's going to really start to taint the Patriots and really start to bolster Brady the longer this goes on, I think. I love Brady, but I still love the Patriots.
And how do you see that shaking out?
I was going to say, my question was going to be, which of the three young quarterbacks in that division, the AFC East, talking about Wilson, we're talking about Tua, and Mac Jones, if he plays this year, even if we get to see a little bit from him.
You can't forget about Josh Allen. He's only in his third year.
Well, no, I mean, Josh Allen is not in his first or second year. That's kind of where I'm qualifying it here. Which of those three is going to have the best career?
I feel like I'm pigeonholed here.
You have to go first.
No, hell no. I'm not going first. You go first.
Okay, then I'm going to do cop-out, and I'm going to say Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, what's your reasoning?
There's not much.
Which is why you pick it. I mean, why not? I mean, we've already discussed ad nauseum.
I think Zach Wilson's getting beat up a lot, and I think it remains to be seen what the new regime in New York can do. This is definitely the best coaching staff that they've had in a long time, and I know Zach Wilson has kind of been becoming like the fifth of the five quarterbacks, even though Mac was drafted last.
By default.
It's
also because he looks like a 13-year-old.
Yeah, that's true. I know, and he's got a hot mom and all. I know. I've heard all the little.
And he wears that stupid headband.
Yeah, I know, and the stupid headband. I know.
Oh, come on!
I've seen all the jokes. He sets himself up for it, but I kind of like
headbands. Don't say, "Oh, I'll take you on anytime, anywhere."
He's a nerd. I mean, Andrew Luck was a nerd, and that's why I loved him. So I don't know. I'll cut the guy some slack.
Is it possible to say that all three could be good?
No, two will suck. No,
one of them's Tua, so.
You guys' Tua hate is so unfounded.
How many interceptions did he throw today at camp? Do we have video?
Andy, let's not go there. How did the Steelers do in the playoffs last year?
That's last year, baby. We're talking about this year. I'm asking how a quarterback did at camp today. That relates to this year, not last year.
I'm sure.
But if you want to go there,
news one way or the other.
If you want to go there, Big Ben is in the best shape he's been in probably 10 years. If you want to call it being in
good shape. 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah. Hey,
And the articles do say Tua continues to impress at camp. I'll be the unbiased reporter here. It's what I'm reading.
Yeah, suck my dick, Andy.
Shane, I'll say, if Mac Jones does see playing time this year, you better hope it's not like another Dwayne Haskins scenario where he's getting caught at strip clubs and stuff. Like,
I could see that.
Anything more than that, you're fine.
Mac Jones going to strip clubs?
No, but I get where he's going with this. I could see him being a knucklehead.
But he doesn't look like a knucklehead. He looks like
he does. Have you seen him walk?
Yeah, he's got the Vince McMahon walk. He does
It's
the
not
Conor
Vince
McGregor.
McMahon. It's like Bill Belichick lumbering oaf.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's perfect. That's why he looks like me in pads.
Hey, but he gets it done.
We'll see.
We just need a cigar.
Let's see how he does. Honestly,
We just need the cigar in that for Mac Jones.
Oh my God. So there is some news that came out of camp. Tua's impressing in camp, like Ken said. Suck it, Andy.
So is Jalen Hurts.
We've got a couple injuries. Dak hurt his shoulder. Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson are both out with the same foot injury. 5 to 12 weeks. It's devastating for the Colts. And then you've got a minor knee injury for Devonta Smith. Looks like he'll be back in practice.
Crushing news for me all around. Fantasy wise.
I know.
Between Dak in my one league and Devontae Smith in my other league and Kenny Galladay in my other league,
it looks like Devonta's going to be back at the end of the week. All MRIs and everything were negative.
It was funny because Ian Rappaport tweeted out an injury about Kenny Galladay, saying how it was minor, so we no really need to worry. And the comment below said, "Well, apparently you haven't met Kenny Galladay."
That's the other thing.
I do have a question for Ken.
Yeah.
So there was a report yesterday that came out that the Giants got into a giant brawl, and you made a comment because also in that report was that Daniel Jones was at the bottom of the pile, and Ken made a funny comment about that in our group chat. Ken, care to share?
I don't even remember what it was, but I remember saying something about it being like that is like typical Daniel Jones 101 to like be that goon at the bottom of that pile. Like it's so him. He reminds me of like the type of guy who like does everything that he can to get himself like in the wrong place at the wrong time, or like he's always that type of oaf that's gonna get himself run over by somebody. That's sort of how I think of him. Like he's kind of a goofball. That's kind of why I like him a little bit, but you don't want to be seeing that, especially when it's like self-inflicted wounds and you get your quarterback at the bottom of the pile. And then the other side of things, I mean, it's just typical NFC East mayhem. I mean, it never goes away. It never stops. It's you get Dallas with having to be cautious. They're remaining cautious with Dak, which just sounds incredibly ominous to me. I'm worried about Dak only because he's coming off that other major injury that typically would require or would benefit from seeing some game action, and now he's already not going to play in the Hall of Fame game. I don't expect he's going to play in the second game. Maybe if things progress nicely, he'll play in the third game, but you would really like to see him get some game action under his belt since he's coming off that major injury. Now he's got another one to deal with, so it's kind of frustrating for Dak fans. Wentz is I feel really bad for Frank Reich because to me, I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, and he's kind of cursed with quarterbacks. He's had the worst luck with quarterbacking, in my opinion. And this doesn't really surprise me, I guess. Wentz can't stay on the field. And, I mean, there's not much to say about Devontae Smith. It's the same old story. It's not football season until the Eagles' best receiver gets hurt.
Bagels, you're an Ohio guy. Are you a Browns fan?
So, funny you asked. I actually have denounced my fandom for the Indianapolis Colts. I think that pickup of Carson Wentz was just horrible because that guy was, like, outside his rookie season when they won the Super Bowl, the dude's been a bum. And when the Colts picked him up, I was pissed. So I'm kind of indifferent with the foot injury. I'm hoping Jacob Eason, will light it up if he does get the starting role. I was always a huge fan of Jacoby Brissett coming from New England and all that. But yes, I have denounced my Colts fandom. I am now a full-time Browns fan.
Jeez.
Where's the playoff last year was very fun.
Where's the X button to get him?
I heard Viggy deflate.
We're pro Baker Mayfield podcast other than Viggy.
I do like me some Baker Mayfield.
So are you a big Baker guy?
Oh, big Baker guy. When I had the beard, I had Baker Mayfield references, or not references. Like they're like, oh, you look like Baker Mayfield. I was like, no, I don't, but thank you, kind of thing. But
It was like the
I will
face.
say, when I was living in Rhode Island, being a Colts fan, all the years sucked when Colts would lose to the Patriots. So I put my fair share into heartbreaking seasons. When Peyton Manning probably could have won a couple more Super Bowls with the Colts, but the Ben Roethlisberger shoestring tackle, that was heartbreaking. So I guess
So
I'll trade.
I do have a question that's a little off topic. You
Go
said
for
you're
it.
from Rhode Island.
Yes, sir.
What brought you and Hatch together?
We were on so I moved to Rhode Island. My dad was in the military. Hatch was in one of my classes and on the football team, so we got to know each other. Me, him, buddy Frank, Nico, and we were just on baseball teams together. I mean, we were great friends in high school, still great friends now. I mean, shit, I think East Coast Breaking Code brought me closer to Hatch than I've been, previous 4 years because, once we went away to college, kind of lost contact, and next thing you know, I'm fucking bashing him, timing him out in Twitch chat. So, but no.
So this is where you stake your claim. Who was better at baseball, you or Hatch?
Oh man, baseball. I would say, man, I'll tell you this. Hatch is better at breaking his own eye socket than me.
Wow.
Because he fouled a pitch off inside in the rain and it smoked him right in the face.
Oh.
It's clearly way inside. But I don't know. I'll say I was the better baseball player.
I believe that.
Hatch just gave you that in football.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Oh, football. You guys want to see some? Hatch is going to love this.
Man with the hands.
I'll give that to you.
Like
that's just for Jake.
I love it. I love it. So getting back on track, football-wise, Andy, as Bagels is a Browns fan, tell him why the Steelers are going to decimate them this year.
Oh man, do we need some revenge or what? I mean, good lord! It was the opening snap, and I just kind of sat in my chair and took it like a man kind of thing, and gave myself hope that the Steelers would come back somehow. Being down, what was it, 28-0 in the first quarter in that playoff game? It was like deflating. I was just kind of sitting there, just like, but no, this year we have what we didn't have last year, okay? And that's a running game. Najee Harris is going to be, other than Trevor Lawrence down there in Jacksonville, he's going to be the non-quarterback rookie of the year. So if quarterback probably wins rookie of the year, but if it's not going to be a quarterback, it's going to be Najee Harris. Najee Harris has been tearing it up at Steelers training camp in Pittsburgh. And we did not have a running game at all last year, which is why Ben Roethlisberger threw 40 to 45 times a game, only 5 yards down the field every time, where defenses were able to pretty much just know that was going to be the case, okay? We had no offensive line. We had no running game. That changes this year with Najee Harris. He will be a difference maker on the ground, 13, 14, maybe even 1,500 yards. He's going to be the bell cow of the Steelers' running game offense, which will allow Ben Roethlisberger to throw the ball less, to stay healthy, to stay upright, to utilize the weapons like Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, assuming he catches footballs. Pat Freiermuth, tight end, rookie tight end. Remember that name, coming out of Penn State.
Oh, he's been having a great camp.
He will have he has had a great training camp. He will have a great career with the Steelers. I believe he makes a big-time impact in his rookie year. Ben Roethlisberger has always loved the tight ends, a.k.a. Heath Miller, when he came out of Virginia in the first round back in, I believe it was 2005. Big-time connection right away. Turned out to be a fantastic career. So I think the Steelers are revamped. I think with the running game, it helps the offensive line. It helps Ben Roethlisberger, and it helps the entire offense. And defensively, we were just gashed at the linebacker position last year. Devin Bush, namely, was the one who tore his ACL last year, was out for the season. He'll be back this year. We'll have more depth at the linebacker position. Minkah Fitzpatrick will have another great season. TJ Watt. So I believe that the Steelers will be coming out for blood this year against your Cleveland Browns, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think also kind of with the last 3 games in that one playoff game last year, that's really what everyone views the Pittsburgh Steelers at, and I think the Browns really caught them at a perfect moment, even with all the weapons that we had. Like
Right.
I don't expect the 2 regular season games to start out 28-0 because, like you said, you are having Najee Harris coming in. The run game was nowhere, so maybe it was due to fatigue for Roethlisberger throwing 45 to 50 passes a game, like you said.
And that's just not what he is anymore. I mean, even though he's slimmed down a lot this offseason, he'll be in better shape, but still, at his age, 39 years old, he's not doing that. He never really was the kind of quarterback to do that, but especially not at his age now.
That AFC North is going to be a fun division to watch, boys. That's all I got to say.
Even with Cincinnati, you got Joe Burrow coming back. You got Jamar Chase, wide receiver that he played with in college. Burrow played in college.
Thad Moss is their tight end.
It's tough to pick the loser. It's tough to pick the division's loser.
So
no clear cut.
We're gonna jump into my favorite part of the show. Andy's hates this part.
Nobody else's favorite.
But Andy, you get to be a judge with me for this first one. Bagels, I'm throwing you into the fire.
Okay.
All right.
It's gonna be tacos or sushi.
Ooh.
And
I'm glad I'm not debating this. I love both. So
I think Ken staunchly hates one.
I don't hate either one.
Oh, perfect. So Bagels, you get tacos. Ken, you get sushi.
Ken, I'll let you have this one first.
I'm sorry, me first?
I'll let you go first. Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, this is yet another example of Bagels has to get tacos. Well, I guess we made the right decision. This is another example.
Why are we not debating bagels here? Because bagels,
I know, like beyond obvious.
Bagels versus toast or something.
My nickname in high school was Taco. That's why Hatch said that.
Oh, before bagels.
When I got to high school, everyone thought I was Mexican. They didn't want to say my name. So I started out as Fez, and then it switched to Taco, and that's everyone knew me as. Like the dean, the principal, they all knew me as Taco. So
that was great background info.
That is very important. I'm glad
for this debate specifically. It's
I'm very glad we gave you the tacos. That would have been a huge mistake, fatal mistake for the integrity of the show. Frankly, this is another example of an argument that doesn't have a loser because both have their very wonderful place in food history. And they're also not even. I mean, they're on different wavelengths, kind of. Like tacos to me are a meal. They're like a Mexican sandwich, so to speak. You can put any ingredient in them, and you have 2 or 3, and you're off to the races. Whereas sushi's kind of like a finger food, if you will. You can, but I feel like a lot of the times you're going to eat sushi when you're talking with others. It's like a social food. You pick it up, you pop it in your mouth. It's a snack. You move on to the next one. You can have it for a meal, of course. I mean, but I feel like personally for me, I'm eating it like as an appetizer with other people at a restaurant, or I might get it for myself just because I'm that kind of guy because it's that good. But I have to admit, it's sushi, so it's an acquired taste. You have to have quite an advanced palate, which I think is what's going to screw me with Shane here because he puts like ketchup on everything.
Shane just, yeah.
I hate ketchup.
Okay, true. He does hate condiments. That was a mistake. That's like a stereotype, with the ketchup on the hot dog. I do that a lot. Anyway, a lot of people can't get past the raw sushi thing, the raw seafood thing. But I'm here to tell you that there is a happy medium for you, Shane, that you can have. Oh, and Steve. Yeah, Steve's another one. So Shane and Steve, there is a happy medium for you, and that happy medium is called the California roll. I would recommend that's where you start, my friend, because a lot of the times you're gonna have a hard time jumping right into that piece of fish, that salmon, so to speak, or whatever it happens to be. It's quite a jump. You start with a California roll, you might not even think you're eating real seafood because it's probably crab meat or something of the sort like that, shrimp, crab meat, the low risk seafood, if you will. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can live off raw fish, frankly. So there's no real argument on that front. It's not for everybody. I'll admit it's not for everybody, but you can get get that California roll. It's going to come with the soy sauce. You're going to have the wasabi, the ginger, whatever you really want to add to it. It's really all good stuff. The wasabi gives it the little kick. The ginger comes with a little bit of freshness. And when you really get advanced, you can start graduating onto some of like the funner stuff, like the rainbow rolls and stuff like that. The stuff that looks really pretty, that you feel bad eating it, and it costs like $50. That's the crazy shit that right there. That I probably wouldn't eat unless like Outtabagels was visiting me or something. But to be honest with you, sushi really is. It's underrated in my opinion because, like I said, it's that acquired taste. A lot of people are turned off by it, but you got to just start with one. You start with that first roll, that California roll, and you work your way up from there. Because I was once like you, Shane. I was once like you, but you can try. You can be a sushi guy. You don't have to be like Steve. You can be a sushi guy, and it can be good. I promise. Well, but maybe if you come up, we'll get you a California roll, and I think your mind will be blown.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to trying it. Bagels, tell us why tacos are far superior.
I will say, Ken, this was a hard topic for me because I think seafood is king and queen, depending on how you rank it against steak. But yeah, no, Shane, definitely try it. I mean, I've convinced my girlfriend of 6 years that from a small town Ohio that all it takes is a California roll, and then now she's eating spicy tuna rolls. So there's definitely a learning curve to it. But for tacos, all I gotta say is you don't see very many sushi trucks driving around cities. I'm talking, you go up to this greasy food truck and you just know this guy's from the motherland, and he makes you this finger food. I don't know if Ken's eating tacos with forks and knives, but when you just smash that taco, you know it's way better than sushi. It's very simple to make. I mean, anybody can make it. Not everyone can make sushi. You got to get the right rice. You got to get the right roller. You got to get the seafood. It's expensive to make. It's expensive to buy. Tacos, you just need a meat, a tortilla, whether it's corn or flour, some salsa if you want to make it, or get some El Paso, or and some cheese. I mean, my favorite taco is very simplistic. It's tortilla, meat, cilantro, and a little lime on there. I mean, there's not much to a taco. I've never once woke up hungover and said, you know what, cure this hangover? Sushi. No, I'd go over and get Taco Bell or something. I mean, there's so many different varieties of tacos. I mean, there's so many. You can make your take on tacos however you want. Breakfast tacos. I mean, hell, I'll go into a restaurant thinking, you know, it's going to be burgers and fries all over the place, and they have their version of a taco. I mean, it's very versatile. The only downside is, if you're stranded on an island, you can't cook up tacos, and you can eat raw fish. So, no, I mean, tacos are by far one of God's greatest gifts, and yeah, beat sushi every time.
Do you want to address the comment from Mr. Hatch? I'll put it on the screen for you.
To be fair, you also convinced her to date you, so she's easily convinced. Those are for the people who are listening on Apple, Spotify later. That's what
I will say. I had to convince her to date me while she was in a relationship. I'll say that. So there's a little more.
Ooh, spicy.
There's a little more in there.
Which is why tacos. Which is why you chose tacos.
Yeah,
right, a little spicy. That's true.
So Vig, how are we leaning on this?
Oh man, I love.
You're right. Sushi Bell does sound disgusting.
It does.
I love both, man. It's hard for me to choose, so I'll defer to you, Shane. You're the one with the 5-year-old palate, so
why would you defer to me? So you're gonna make me make the hard decision.
Has he ever had sushi in his life?
So,
have you ever had sushi?
Wise, I think it's really hard. You guys are both pretty convincing, and I don't think there is a loser here. Let me just preface that. We don't allow losers unless their name is Viggy Betts. But I'll give the point to Ken on this one.
I was gonna actually give the point to Bagels. So
yeah, good defer.
So we got 1-1. I was leaning tacos, but
well, there's 2 points. We each get a point. Sushi tacos. We'll match.
I think both y'all deserve a point.
Now we'll do a little more personal. We'll do a
Ken,
little
when I
more
get that invite, we'll get sushi.
Yes, and we'll do the. Oh, that's right. That's right.
And by invite, I mean wedding invite.
See, I know. I caught what you were putting down.
He
Don't
said
worry,
he's razzing off
I'll
the,
button up for the ceremony, but
he's
give me an
razzing off
advance.
his +1 in the ECBC Discord.
Yes, I'm gonna razz them off. That's a great idea.
The Taco Bell.
I'm gonna go ask for permission to do that, and then I'm gonna see. And then I'm probably.
No, Bagels is gonna razz his +1. He's not gonna bring his girlfriend. It's gonna be Bagels and whoever wins the razz.
Yeah,
it's a business trip. She doesn't need to come along with it.
That's true. That's true.
Taco Bell angle wins it for you, in my opinion.
We're gonna do a little role reversal here.
We are.
Ken and Bagels are gonna now be the judges. Andy, we're gonna go head to head with our soccer team.
Like
our
it.
football teams, if you will.
This is good. As
Andy,
somebody
you're gonna
who, as somebody who has no idea what you're going to talk about, I'll have to give you guys a point now.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Our soccer teams, Andy.
Oh, our
Arsenal,
soccer teams. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You're gonna lead us off, Andy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with my boys Arsenal here. So for me, in choosing Arsenal, I'll kind of go back to it. Arsenal has always been a fun team to watch. For me personally, they not only are they fun to watch, they score a lot of goals. They move the ball very well, fluidly. You're not going to watch a boring game when you watch Arsenal. And of course, they cashed all my bets last year. So that's, you want to know why? Arsenal, Liverpool didn't do shit for me last year. I'll say that right now. Every bet I had on Liverpool, they lost. I'm like, okay, they won the championship. I'm going to bet on them. And then, whoop, they lose. So, yeah, Liverpool was never really in the conversation. Sorry, Bagels. I just put it there so you would so you would get a chance. But no, so the thing I like about Arsenal is that they're a young team. They're growing. They're young. They have a lot going for them long term. Saka being the big guy that I think really can grow with this team. He was in the English team for the Euro 2020. I believe overall the team had 4 guys going in for Euro. They won the FA Cup, I believe, just 12 months ago. So they're very strong team, but they're also very young. So they have a lot going for them in that regard. Tottenham was one of my considerations. They're an older team, especially with Harry Kane. Is he going to be on the team? I just didn't want to go there. Leicester City, I like them a lot, but I just think that their run is one of the top 4. I just don't know if that's going to continue long term. And then, of course, you have Liverpool, which I was never going to touch to begin with. So like I said, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Chelsea is going to have the upper hand right now. Let's put it. They won the Champions League. Okay, so it's hard for me to defend that. They have Pulisic. They have some of the greatest soccer players in the world. So for me, it's hard to say, okay, Arsenal is better than Chelsea. I can't say that right now. They just played a friendly. Chelsea won 2-1. But long term, and Chelsea's kind of like the Los Angeles Dodgers of the EPL. They're going to sign anybody they want for however much with an unlimited amount of funds, unlimited amount of euros in this case. So Chelsea's going to do what they're going to do. But Arsenal is going to come at you from a young, energetic standpoint, athletic standpoint. It might take them 1, 2, maybe 3 years to get back into, say, the top 2, but I think they have a chance to compete in the top 4 this year. Maybe they'll get into the 6th or 7th spot. I don't know if they're going to be at the top 4 this year, but I'm really excited to watch them as they grow as a team.
I like it. Obviously, I'm going to go with my boys, Chelsea. That's the topic. They've got the man, the myth, the legend, Captain America himself, Christian Pulisic. Rumors are they're moving him to the left side of the field this season. Might see a few more opportunities, could see a few less opportunities. I've seen some people against the move, some people for the move. I think it works out best. It gives Mason Mount and Kai Havertz a bit more room to maneuver on the other side of the field. Both of those are world-class players. Christian Pulisic's obviously world-class. He's an American player. the first American player to ever win an EPL championship, mind you. But I believe Kai Havertz and Mason Mount are the class of Chelsea. I think those are the two best players. Amazing midfielders. They've got Timo Werner, another great forward for Chelsea. They've got Conte, a France midfielder that's been amazing for Chelsea. They've got the best defender in the world in Thiago Silva. Amazing. He's been so awesome for Brazil. And then coming into Chelsea, he's been awesome. He was awesome at PSG. I just think this team in general is amazing. You've got guys like their goaltender. They've got Mendy and Kepa. That's split time at goalie. Both have been great. They're definitely primed to go and win another title. They just put Billy Gilmore, who I really like, on loan, so he won't be with the team this season. But he's only 19. I think they're going to have even more depth in the coming years because Billy Gilmore will come back after this year, and he's going to be another forward that's going to be lethal. He was awesome for Scotland in the Euros until he got COVID. He dominated the match against England. He was definitely the man of the match, and he was awesome. But overall, I just think this team is awesome. Reece James gets another great defender with Thiago Silva. I think this team is just loaded. Like Andy said, they're going to be hard to compete with. It's hard to compare these two teams because Chelsea is just a step above. I mean, you've got Saka on Arsenal, who is awesome, but he doesn't have as much help as a Mason Mount, if you will, who is probably my favorite player in the world other than Christian Pulisic. I PC Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount's going to have a huge season. He didn't have the greatest Euro, but I think he's primed for a bounce back season. It was, a weird COVID season last season. So this season we get to see a full regular season. Hopefully COVID doesn't play too much of a factor. And we can really see the Mason Mount that was super hyped up going into last season. And he had a pretty good season last season, just struggled in the Euros. But overall, I don't think Arsenal can come close to comparing to Chelsea. I think Chelsea is the class of the EPL right now. Man City's definitely got a few things to say about that after just securing Grealish and still making a move for Harry Kane. If they get Harry Kane, they're going to be pretty scary. But otherwise, I think Chelsea's primed for another EPL title.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with all those points, Shane. I mean, Chelsea, they won the Champions League. I mean, what can you say? And they're going to be –
well, they brought back most of their team.
Yeah, and they brought back most of their team, and they're probably going to be a top 2, top 3 at the very worst team. And Arsenal probably will not this year, but I think as we move forward, and I'm still learning my team, so Shane, you can get the point for this, but I just like the future.
I think it's depending on Saka. If Saka has a big year, I think.
I think for sure we're in the top half of the table, but I want to see how we respond to tough competition, not just in friendlies, but actually this season against the guys like Man City and Manchester United and Chelsea. Can we get away with a point in some of these big time matches and avoid the loss? So I think if we can draw against some of those top teams and then beat who we're supposed to beat, I think we'll be at least a top 6 team with a lot of room to grow moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you thinking, Bagels? You look like you got something on your mind.
I gotta ask. So, am I giving the point to who's the better club, or who I'm more willing to root for?
Who had the better argument?
Okay. I got to give it to you, Shane. I mean,
but I am interested to know who you're more willing to root for.
I'm more willing to root for Arsenal because
Arsenal 100. I don't even know who you guys are talking about, but Shane just picked like the Yankees or the Lakers.
I did not pick the
Yankees. I did say the
Lakers.
Dodgers right now.
Okay, to the 2021
Chelsea is the
Dodgers.
Dodgers of the EPL right now.
Yeah.
If Man City gets Harry Kane, then maybe different.
Hi, Karen. I love you.
I was gonna say, like, if I wanted to like watch and root for a team, I was gonna give it to Viggy because I have it in all caps right here. I was taking notes, cashed all bets, and I mean, great teams win. I mean, good teams win, but great teams cover. So
ask Andy how many times Chelsea covered for him.
watching Arsenal is kind of almost like watching the Kansas City Chiefs game, man. It's just fun. It's entertaining. You know you're not going to leave the game feeling like you were boring watching the game.
I just want to come back to one point. Ken, I did not pick the Yankees. I picked a team because I'm a big fan of Christian Pulisic.
I know.
I love Captain America, and I've fallen in love with Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount is amazing. Partly, I really like Billy Gilmore as well, who was I think he might be loaned on to Norwich right now. I think he's actually on Norwich, the team that Viggy brought up earlier.
So Arsenal right now is at the top of the Premier League table per Google because Arsenal begins with an A and it goes by alphabetical order. So the team right now in first place before the season starts is Arsenal. So I'm just putting it out there.
Just so we're clear, Bagels, my whole goal, probably for the next month and a half, is to make Ken a soccer fan. I've tried all summer to get him to invest in soccer cards, and I feel like I'm slowly breaking him. He's going to buy one, I can tell.
It's really
I was going to ask, are we going to have a Ken soccer team reveal for the EPL down the line soon?
I would love it.
I would love that. Why not? Let's do it.
I have to
And
do
we want to reveal.
I'm not prepared for that. I will have
Well,
to.
not yet, but I mean,
Yeah.
could we see a reveal within the next week or two?
Could we? Oh, I don't know. You'll have to tune in.
The season starts next week.
If you were to give me a percentage, what would the percentage be?
Oh, the percentage. I think we're hovering in like the 88.3 percentile.
I like that. And we'll do the Jeopardy music and everything for your reveal.
Ken, you let me know what team it is, and I'll buy you a shirt. Man.
Oh, a shirt.
So here's my problem.
To get the hat.
I wanted a jersey. But there is nothing more than you can't get anything over 3X anywhere for anything for soccer. Fanatics, anywhere. It's either 2X or 3X.
Yeah, they don't make soccer players.
I'm a big motherfucker, okay? I need something more than 3X. Give me a 5XLT or 5XB or 4XB or something.
Nope, they don't.
For the big people.
They unfortunately don't make baby gorilla sizes for us.
Yep, it's like a Toyota. You don't fit in those fuckers either.
No.
Hey, does Boston not have a team, an MLS team?
The New England Revolution.
Okay.
I can't get into MLS. I don't know.
The Revolution went through a period. When I was growing up, the Revolution went through a period where they would go pretty much to all the way to the end and lose every time.
Yep, I actually remember that when Clint Dempsey was on the team.
So maybe that was soccer for me.
I'd like to point to the comment by Jake Hatch here. So, yeah, you can do it in 2 weeks when you make your fantasy pick.
That's right. I am drawing this baby out. I still don't even know who I'm going to pick. I might not pick tonight just because of how rude Hatch has been all day long.
So I'd like to move on to our collectible corner with Ken. I do want to say real quick, thank you so much, Bagels, for coming on. Honestly, you've become one of my favorite people in the Discord. I enjoy talking to you privately. You're an awesome guy. I appreciate your friendship. I'm sure Ken can concur.
I concur.
You're one of our absolute favorites.
Well, thanks again for having me on. I truly appreciate it. I was telling Ken. I sent Ken and Liam a drunk Discord message July 4th weekend. Just thanking them for me being part of the ECBC group. Honestly, like this hobby when I was a kid, it was different, and kind of the pandemic reignited it. Especially, and special shout out to K Slice, because he's really the reason why I got back into it. But yeah, no, I love the community, love the Discord. Some funny motherfuckers in there, and it's not, and we're all not on the same thing. We're all chasing different. Like Sandy's chasing Mariners. We got Minnesota. We got Nebraska boys. For the most part, I'm good with getting the Browns whenever I want. That might change, hopefully, just because we'll get more people in. But
absolutely,
no, yeah, appreciate it, Shane, Viggy, Ken, everything.
And K Slice, not to be confused with Kembo J Slice. Two different.
K Slice.
So, Bagels, Ken. It's been said that LaMelo's not going to sign redemptions. How are we feeling about that?
It's rumored. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but that's what I've been hearing, that he's like holding out on his redemption signing. And I was actually wondering if he's somehow contractually obligated to fulfill that. I guess maybe not. It's probably going to be a shitstorm for Panini. I'm sure it won't matter for him, right? But if that were true, can you imagine the ripple effects that has on that entire line of basketball? They just released Select. They haven't even released Optic yet, and Prism is still like the hottest basketball or probably the hottest retail product right now. That's the one thing people are still chasing. I'm sure that won't change just because of the retail prices, but could you imagine if the biggest chase is not signing? It would be absurd. It would be ridiculous. I don't believe it till it's confirmed, but I did think it was noteworthy because that would certainly shake some trees, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Him not signing redemptions is what does Panini do? Because that's a
what do you fulfill it with? I don't even know. Like what happened?
What do you give them? Because that's money. That's like big money.
Yeah, I don't know. You can't comp it with any other rookie in that class. So that's a rough one, man.
I was gonna say Edwards is close, but I mean not even that close, really.
He's close in terms of talent, but he doesn't get that hype. He doesn't have that ball hype.
Bagels, you get a redemption for LaMelo. It's a 5 redemption, so it's probably gold. What do you do if you find out he won't sign it?
If I ever encounter him, I'll punch him in the face and tell him to sign it right then and there. But no, I mean, if you're Panini, there's got to be a better way. Like if you're gonna have this type of business, you got to be able to have athletes that are gonna come through on their end when it comes to these redemptions, because these are the big chasers. These are what people are paying, 165 minimum for a break to get the Hornets for a chance at these redemptions. I mean, If I pulled it today or tonight, I'm gonna hold it, until I either hear for confirmation whether it gets redeemed or not.
Have you has anyone seen prices? Have prices on redemptions that are being sold as redemptions fallen at all?
For LaMelo?
Yeah.
I am on it.
So also, Bagels, do you use eBay to get cards?
Yes and no. So
have you seen their new collection thing?
No, I haven't. I haven't actually been on eBay in about a week or so.
Now, any cards you buy with their new beta collection thing goes into your collection, and it actually tracks it for you. So it'll show you how much it's actually worth and how much it's going for. The average price. It's actually killing that Market Movers app.
Yep.
I don't know
how Ladder has that too.
So I checked it out last night, and it's actually pretty good. Any card you buy goes straight into your collection. You don't have to implement it, and then it shows you how much. If it goes down 0.25%, it'll show you that in your collection that it's down 0.25%, or if it's up, and then it'll show you how much your collection's worth total.
Damn.
Hey Shane.
Yeah.
Prism Gold, LaMelo Ball, sensational signatures. We are at $13,000.
Oh, so it seems like it's pretty steady.
13,000. It was listed for $25,000, and he accepted the best offer. What a guy!
So maybe the not sign is that sold today?
No, that was August 1st.
Okay, so the news about the LaMelo redemptions were
actually there was one sold today. What's orange?
Orange is to 25.
That was actually 2,600. So I call that a slight dip. Numbers even out a little bit, but yeah.
I'm just interested to see what Panini does if he doesn't sign. I feel like for these guys that hit these massive cards, you've got to do something. These are the cards that everyone's chasing. You're paying $800 for a hobby to get.
If he doesn't sign, his Prism short print parallels are going to go through the roof.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also wanted to touch on a little bit of national fallout. Ken, what's your thought of national?
So I heard the one thing that stuck with me the most was actually what Hatch told me when he got back. So he went there and kind of took over the city, did his thing, did Hatch like things, and then when he got back, I still have a card in his possession that he needs to sell. It's his Mike Trout auto. It's sitting right there. You can see it on the camera there. And the first thing he said to me was, I think people are buying now, so send me some pictures of the Trout card. And that's what I think is going to start happening, because I think quarterback hysteria is real. There was one guy on Twitter who I saw had a pristine Beckett 10 Mahomes. It was the blue one, which was a $25,000 card. Like, the amount of money that was getting thrown around in Chicago this past weekend was insane. And to me, and I don't know because I've never been, but to me, it looked like the hobby was extremely healthy. With more money coming into it, and that's what I took away from it more than anything else.
So I was watching a YouTube video, actually, just to mention about the hobby being healthy. Day 4, last day, they said there was 100,000 people in that auditorium. So
that's insane. It's really insane. Like, it'd be so overwhelming. It's impossible to even do it all. You can't. And you do have a little bit of FOMO. I'm sure we all had a little bit of FOMO because none of us were there, but you see people who are running around. And I don't know. It's in Atlantic City. That's a lot more doable for me next year. So it could be about it. We'll see.
ECBC meetup? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, we could meet up before. Hatch and I went to the Causeway show in Boston a couple of weeks back. That was where I sold my card, and I've actually been hitting a lot more than usual. Bagels is going to hit some with his mustache and recruit people. Big talking point. So,
oh yeah,
we're going to grow.
Another point about the hobby being healthy. Ryan Cards on Twitter actually sold a giant Mahomes, and he sent a picture of him buying a plane ticket to hand deliver the card.
Oh yeah, that was the Mahomes I was talking about, the blue one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Beckett 10 pristine. That's like one of the craziest cards I've ever seen.
Can you imagine just buying a plane ticket to go hand deliver a card?
Yeah, but I mean, it's probably part of the investment. Like, how do you ship a card that he likely sold for $25K?
Yeah, like
I'd probably do the same thing.
That's fair. I also wanted to get your opinion as a breaker, Ken. Today, gold label first off the line, or whatever it is, the gold standard sold for $375, and I think a hobby is $500 on Panini's. It's going to be $500 tomorrow on Panini's website.
Wait,
and the first off the line sold for $375. That's where it's sold out at.
Are you sure?
Yep. Yeah.
I'm skeptical, but anyway, so
I'm gonna look at the
500 is gonna drop, and the reason I say that is because I saw some people opening boxes. I saw some breaks, and gold standard is usually billed as that. Like, usually all of it is NFL product, like NFL jersey product in gold standard, at least for the top tier rookies. So Lawrence should be in a Jaguars jersey, and the rest of the guys on the top, 15, 20 should have followed suit. What I saw was actually fucking Devontae Smith, and his autograph was him in his goddamn flag football outfit from when they had that charity event.
Oh, no.
I can't remember the name of the charity event. It's escaping me now. But that was the image that Panini used. It was him in like a white tank top and white shorts playing flag football, catching a pass. That's the image that Panini put on the gold standard Devontae Smith auto. And I was like, good God, that is awful. What is that?
Crazy.
If you can find it, if I look it up online, it's not a good looking picture.
So it bottomed out at $375. That's what it sold out as, according to Cheddar Bob on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're selling tomorrow for $475 on Panini's website. The
That's
regular
to me, in my opinion, it's too much because it's a 7-card box. So it's going to be tough to make your money back, especially when you got images like that, like what they're putting on.
Yeah, if you're not getting a Trevor Lawrence or something to that standard in a pro uni, you're probably not making much money there.
As a breaker, it's a lull time because football and baseball do both have that sort of big release on the horizon. Obviously, the baseball one being Topps Chrome and the football one, for me, being Certified, which is like one of my favorite releases of the year. Both were actually supposed to come out. Today's the 4th. The 13th was their expected date. They just bumped them again to like the 27th, which is starting to aggravate me. But hopefully by the time the NFL season kicks off, we will have certified is kind of, to me, that first true RPA, and that's really, I think, the first one
of the year.
The first ones that hold value, really, in my opinion. And while I do like some of the college product, like Chronicles was a lot of fun draft picks, and so was what's the other one we did? Donruss Elite. But I think Certified's really where it takes off, because after Certified, that's when Donruss comes. That's when hopefully Mosaic comes again. That's when eventually the Great Prism comes, and that's when they all start to sort of rein in, if you will, as September comes around. So this is the lull period, the lull week.
But Ken, being the savvy breaker, picked up an amazing box.
I've been holding on to that box for months, but I wanted to break it when we got close to the season, and that's what I'm going to open either tonight or tomorrow. But I do want to break it. It's 2019 Prism football, so it's a cello box. These are actually really rare. It's tough to find them on eBay. There was a local guy who was selling one, and I just grabbed it for inventory. I figured once the NFL season starts to get closer, we'll break something with it. That is Kyler Murray's rookie year, so that's obviously the big chaser. That's who everybody will want. Everybody will have a shot at Arizona. We're not going to do anything like PYT or anything like that. So buying a spot.
How do I bribe the breaker to get Arizona?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough to do. But every spot in the break will have a shot at the Cardinals, because I feel like you kind of have to. That's the big selling point. But there's other guys. There's Daniel Jones, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Miles Sanders.
Oh, there's quite a few good rookies.
Yeah, there's a good handful of guys. Terry McLaurin's in there. It's a growing list. Viggy's new backup quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, I think. Remind me, I think he's a Steelers backup, so he'll be there.
Yeah.
I think there's a good amount of guys. It's a decent class, especially obviously headlined by Kyler, and that's something that I think we're going to try and break next, just because we're in that nice little lull period where I think it might be cool to check out some older stuff. And traditionally, Prism is the stuff that retains the value. So that's why the price has never dipped on these, because it's Prism. And Prism DK, Prism Kyler.
You're looking to fly out if you end up pulling the 101 Kyler auto.
Is that still there? Imagine that.
I'm not sure. Could be.
I mean, and plus you have all the red, white, and blue parallels in these boxes too. So that would be those are good. You got the red, white.
So
and blue
we have a few minutes before we end. Ken, have you given your fantasy pick any thought?
Oh, that shit! I forgot. Am I up? Is it my turn? Oh man!
Shannon are just chilling at 1.11, 1.12.
The draft
as long as you want.
This draft has been flying by. I honestly, it's been flying by. I honestly had no idea it was my turn. I can't believe it.
Did you want to walk us through your thought process here a little?
Oh, sure. So if anybody is still listening from the league, hopefully those degenerates aren't, but if they are, I was so you get what the heart wants, and then you get what the head wants, and then you get what I think I should do. So it's kind of tough, because you have what the head wants, and what the head wants is I think Jonathan Taylor is what the head wants, because to me, I think he's 22. I mean, he's 22, but Carson Wentz getting hurt, that shit worries me. I don't know. Then you have what the heart wants, and I think it's pretty obvious what the heart wants. The heart wants big bad number 22 to ride out his career with his number one fan. But then you have what I think I should do. And what I think I should do is what I'm contemplating, and I'm really kind of stuck in the middle, is do you avoid running back? And that's kind of where I'm stuck, because that's like the next layer of guys, the Justin Jeffersons, Tyreek Hills, Travis Kelce's, and Pat Mahomes. That's kind of like that next layer down, and that's sort of what I'm debating right now. And I've had a hard time, I have to admit, and I'm really going back and forth. And I know everybody thinks I'm sitting on my hands and delaying it, but I've actually been putting a lot of thought into this. I've asked my fiance 5 times. She's ready to kill me. She has no fucking idea what I'm asking her, but why am I asking her? I don't know.
No, it's
would you say it's a 24-hour decision?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I think it could be a 24-hour decision, but
what these guys don't understand is this isn't redraft. This isn't keeper. You're keeping this team forever. You don't get to redraft any players next season. So this is a big decision. This is how you're going to shape your team. So
I know, I'm scared.
that's why I don't blame you taking this time. It's a 24-hour clock for a reason. Oh, Steve's about to kill Vig.
No, don't do it. Oh, yeah, he's asked. Yeah. I don't know. You gave me. That's a good idea. I wouldn't want to rush this, so I really have to take my time and really really draw this one out and make sure I'm covering all my bases and make the best decision that's for me.
Shane and I are with a bunch of, and that includes you, Ken, but you're taking the smart approach on this. We're with a bunch of dynasty rookies.
True. That's very true.
So
And I'm trying my best not to be a
understand.
dynasty rookie, but it's
Bagels,
it's inevitable.
if this was you, do you go Patty Mahomes or do you take a running back?
Oh God, me or Vig?
No, Bagels.
Oh, Bagels.
I'm taking Patty Mahomes.
Oh,
That's fair.
Dynasty league, man, that's a fair call. I mean, it is
a fair call because you don't have to worry about quarterback.
I'm just gonna go trade my ass up and get Mahomes and Derrick Henry.
Hey man,
Yeah, I think this way too. What other quarterback are you going to take behind? Like, what's the number 2 quarterback behind?
To me, it's Josh Allen. But
I have it up. I think it is Josh Allen. I can tell you real quick before we sign off. But I don't think you could make a bad pick here because it's pick 3, so you get the pick of so many players, so you don't really have you couldn't make a mistake really. It's Josh Allen, then it's Kyler Murray.
Ken is a dynasty rookie, but he's taking this he's taking this with the right approach.
Exactly. I'm slow. Steve picked Dalvin Cook in 8 seconds. You picked Dalvin Cook in 8 seconds. You now have Dalvin Cook for the next 10 years. You know that? That was an 8-second decision, and now you have Dalvin Cook for 10 years. And you know what? I'm going to take Alexander Madison in the 2nd round.
Now you're a rookie.
But no, I've had so much fun tonight. Again, Bagels, thank you so much for joining us. We've had so much fun. We look forward to you coming back on, maybe in 2 weeks when Andy takes his hiatus for his 2nd child being born. But Bagels, tell everyone where we can find you.
You guys can find me at @bagels on Twitter, or you can find us in the Discord. Go ahead and scan this right here.
Man, he stole
I will be at the Canton Card Show in Ohio this Saturday, and I'll be passing these out. So,
hell yeah!
Hey, there we go. All right, my man.
Ken, tell me where we can find you, brother.
You know where you can find me by now at Kembo J Slice on Twitter. Also, as Bagels just showed, I won't hit you again with it because I don't have one handy. But that's the QR code that will get you right into our Discord so that you can come hang out with all these guys, the best group of guys out there. And you can find me
in there more. I'm in the Discord, but I'm not as active. I need to be more active.
Oh yeah, we got you. We need you. You need an NRFI section.
But yeah.
Biggie, once you automate the calculation,
I do think
concentrating on my nerfies right now. Yeah.
I do think Ask needs a section in that Discord though. That's something that.
Is this your first card show?
No, so I went to a card show just down the road from me a month ago. But that one only has one every 4 months, and this one's a monthly thing, so it's not too bad.
Anything special?
Oh yeah, I got the Dwayne the Cock Johnson card.
What?
And then I picked up a Bobby Bradley auto. I don't know where they're at right now.
Nice.
What was you got a rock card?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Is it a wrestling one or is it something else?
Oh, it's a wrestling one. Here you go.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ken wants one so bad.
I'm the Rock in Austin. That's what I want. I bought what do I have? Sasha Banks rookie card. That's what I grabbed. But I've been looking for some Kevin Owens, and really what I want is those Stone Cold and the Rock cards from like the 90s, the late 90s with the yellow borders. They were like trivia cards. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but that's what I want.
I'll keep my eye on it.
All right. Thank you, Shane. At Viggy Bets right here. We are just cruising right along with the Nerfies. A lot more picks hopefully coming out from the Viggy chart tomorrow. I'll give you a quick rundown on the criteria of the Viggy chart. First inning ERA, first inning slash line, average batters faced in the first inning, opponents slash line. So I want opponents batting average, 2 outs RISP, strikeouts per 9, walks per 9, home runs per 9, 20-21 WHIP, which is walks, hits, innings pitched. Your last 28 days in your away home ERA, there's a criteria for that. If I told everybody, I would have to kill y'all. But that is the semblance of the Viggy chart. I put all that together. Manually, I would love to automate it, by the way. If I can automate it, Bagels can hit me up if that's possible.
Oh, we're automating, baby.
That's what we can.
Okay. Yeah, so if we can automate that, it would make my life so much easier, and the lives of Viggy Nation just would love me to death. So we'll do some more Viggy chart plays tomorrow and the rest of the week, and hopefully by the time we're on next week, we are even more popular than we are now with the Viggy chart. So,
oh yeah,
awesome. And you can find me at Ask Us Sports or at S_Miller_27 on Twitter. Thank everyone for joining us tonight, making Bagel's first appearance that much more special. I think Bagel's definitely going to be a regular face around here. He was awesome. We've had some really good guests the last couple weeks, so we're just moving along. And Ken and I are gonna, for the week that Andy's gone, we're gonna plan something pretty special. I think we're gonna try an all fantasy football show maybe. So that might be some fun. Me and Ken will brainstorm some ideas for that. But otherwise, I hope everyone has a great night.
Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.